Welcome to the very first Underground Trio episode in 2024. I wish you are having a good year already. And of course, music never stops coming, so here we are. These are of course from 2023, hardly any 2024 albums arrived. That will take some time, so let's drill into the past while we're waiting for some new albums to come out. Now, these are according to my own opinion. These are all, of course, different styles, so I'm not assuming that anybody likes all of them, but in case you have an open mind and interested in finding some new music from various parts of the world, let's check them out. So, worst to best, let's do it. First, we'll head to this smaller Labile Records from, I guess, United States of America. This is one of those CDR releases and might not exactly look like a metal release, which is exactly true here with Michael Itz's Ambivalence. To be honest, I am not resourceful or knowledgeable and all that stuff, how to classify, how to put this into certain genre. First of all, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, this is a kind of a mismatch thing. I mean, there are plenty of different styles to play into the CDR release. And secondly, I'm not too much familiar of this particular style of electronic music. Let's say there are parts where it's ambient, there are parts where it's more like synthwave, and then there are parts where it's more just like electronic pop music. So what we should really think about Ambivalence is that it's kind of an ambivalent release to begin with. That is to say, this is the kind of a release where just things go in different directions, one track after another. It's almost like showcasing what Michael Itz, the artist known as, is doing with the stuff. And I don't know who to really target this to. The thing here is, there are parts where it's like soothing ambient, things go nicely, it's more like a soundtrack to a working day or whatever. And then it goes to directions where it's more like, experimental pop music, which is like a little bit putting me off there. It's not like annoying, but it's sometimes way too often kind of meaningless in a way. And then the parts where it's more like flirting with synthwave, that not exactly diving head first into that kind of a territory. So it's a kind of an interesting combination, almost like a compilation of things, but it's kind of hard to figure out like what kind of audience this is really directed to. Maybe you really need to be open-minded and go for some kind of a soundtrack hunting, or go to your, more undergroundish or at least less mainstream approach to synthetic music, electronic and whatnot, and then you're ready to get drowned into this kind of stuff. There are parts where it's really beautiful, there are parts where it's really soothing, but there are also parts where you might just feel skipping. I'm talking about radio level music where nothing really that much happens. So definitely 100% indie, not exactly your mainstream stuff, but it might sound like it could be some kind of a mainstream release. Pretty interesting in the sense of not annoying or not carved for one on the same tree, but where it lacks the kind of a focus is sometimes a little bit of a disappointment. Then we go to Derrick Stembridge, who is the main man of the label actually, Labile Records, and this is Past, Present, Future Archive 1. Now I know the reason later on. I got to understand why I got these two different releases, even though I was asking for another reviewable album. And that is the same label releasing Drifting in Silence, which is actually a project by Derrick Stembridge, hailing from United States of America. And all these CDR albums came in one and the same package. The fourth album, which I'm not going to feature in this one, but I'm going to show it to you because this deserves its own review video, came in the same package, and this was something that I hoped for, requested for. And these other albums came in the same package. Now, coming from the same artist or the same musician as Drifting in Silence ones, this is a little bit different. This is more the kind of ambient soundtrack music, and a little bit different than Drifting in Silence, maybe less focused, which is more on the synthwave of things. But this is actually pretty nice of an album. In a way, kind of like Michael, it's here that this is a little bit unfocused in terms of different styles and all that stuff. But that might be the reason why this is called an archive album. That is probably scattered ideas here and there, delivering you some nice moods and all that stuff, and really could be a soundtrack to a movie or indie video game, things like that. But I found this a little bit unfocused in terms of being an album, so more like a compilation or archived works, who knows. And as such, this is not for everybody, but those who are more into world of synthwave, flirting with ambient and soundtrack and experimental nature of electronic music, I can actually vouch for this one. It's pretty cool, has some wild ideas, but maybe the execution is not fully there yet, much like Drifting in Silence then again has it. But pretty interesting release, and I would say better than Michael It's, even though roughly in the same territory. It's kind of a given why they are coming from one and the same label. Then we switch label, then we switch style altogether. This one is, I got to understand, pronounced RüYYn, even though it's spelled in a very, very weird ways. As you can see here, R and V dots, double Y, N. So it sounds like RüYYn, but I was told it's pronounced RüYYn. Chapter 2, The Flames, The Fallen, The Fury. Already getting a little bit artsy-fartsy, hipster, weird vibes from the name and the album title. And okay, at this point it's more like, okay, not probably my cup of tea. But what we find inside is actually nice release, beautiful digipack release. And this one is of modern black metal. Some might even call it as far as it's kind of a post-black, but it's flirting very, very much with traditional black metal ones. And when I say traditional, I mean certain riffs, certain like vocal components and all that. But it's also a little bit more modern than that. So is it about black gazing, shoegazing? Is it about post-black? Is it black metal's third wave? What have you? These are up for individual to decide. I would just call it modern black metal and leave it at that. And some people won't like it because of that. They want to go modern 80s, 90s, at best early 2000s. I would say with this very nice production. I mean, it's very, very strong. It's strong sounding, it's clear, it's well balanced and all that stuff, leaving a lot of room for bass, for instance. I think it's really supporting this kind of music, which then again goes back and forth with the more aggressive and intense black metal, fast tempo and whatnot, and then again kind of leaning back towards the more atmospheric parts. So not for everybody, especially if you're into raw or more traditional metallic black metal. And by metallic I mean something that is more leaning through, you know, either basic heavy metal kind of a thing, be it Venom, or trashier parts, or second wave black metal inspired by bands like Celtic Frost, Bathory, what have you. So in case you're looking for more guitar-oriented black metal, which is like going back to metal rock riffing, and rather not so much atmosphere and going a little bit more experimental, hipster if you will, or just, I don't know, post-black metal. That is another alternative. But those who are not shy of getting a take on the more modern black metal will actually find RüYYn quite likable. There are lots of things which I really like, and one of them is actually the strong production, giving a lot of room for drums, guitars, bass, etc. But where this lacks the magic, so to say, is the kind of a catchiness, which is then again something that people who are more maybe riff oriented might actually like feel like this is not, you know, giving the magic they're looking for. I am very much a riff driven personality when it comes to listening metal music, and as such I favor individual riffs and compositions which make in a way more sense rather than going full atmospheric. So I get these people, I think. But also I'll have the soft spot for music which is very much leaning with the good atmosphere and all that stuff. And sometimes it's more like, I don't even need vocals, I don't need necessarily good song structures in the sense of, you know, going parts in traditional rock and pop ways, which is then again what metal is actually doing. So kind of divided between these two different ways to approach black metal. In a way, I like this quite a bit. And in a way, I also feel like it could be more structured, focused, and all that stuff. But if you're into modern black metal, no reason why not to check it out. So take it as you will. In my opinion, this is the best of the pile anyway, so there's that. Now, links are provided in the description box, so check out the ones you like. And if you don't like anything, well, too bad for you. Maybe next episode of Indie 5, Underground Trio nowadays, will give you more something to listen to and all that stuff. But there are always new albums coming out. Check out the ones you want. This is a trio this time, and let's hope it was your time. Take care and enjoy some good music. Bye bye.